Those who were here last night would have learned that.
那昨晚在这里的人已经有学到，
In Israel, Sunday is the first day of the week.
在以色列呢，拜天是一个礼拜的第一天。
We're very glad to be with you here over this weekend.
我们很高兴在过去的周末，我们能够在这里跟大家一起度过。
This is a special time. It's the time of the Feast of Tabernacles.
这是一个很特别的时间，因为这是住棚节。
And we're glad that we can share with you and minister with you and just and be with you and get to know you.
我们很高兴能够来这里服侍大家，并且认识大家。
I say thank you once again to Pastor David and Joanna for having us, and also to Jason and to Eunice for taking such good care of us.
我们想再一次感谢陈牧师师母对我们的款待还有 Jason 跟 Eunice 也是一样。
I wear 2 hats in my life.
我的生命里面有2顶帽子。
2 professional hats, besides my hat as a dad and a husband.
除了我作为父亲还有丈夫的这个身份呢，我还有2个专业。
I'm one of the pastors at Caramel Congregation in Haifa on Mount Carmel.
我其中一个身份是在这个海法的这个地方来牧会。
It's an indigenous Hebrew-speaking congregation right in the center of Haifa.
那我的这个牧会就是这个具体的这个名称，对，他刚才提到的就是具体那个名称。
And we're very blessed to be able to serve the Lord there amongst the Hebrew-speaking Israelis and to see them coming to faith and disciple them and see God's kingdom being established on that mountain.
我们很高兴在这座山上面呢，我们可以在这里牧会，并且带着更加多神的子民能够来认识他。
Besides that, I also use my other giftings in a messianic-based investment firm.
我也运用神给我的恩赐在这个也是在投资方面有一些的服侍。
And we work with believers mainly from around the world to be able to invest in Israel and bless Israel on that level as well.
我们呢的事工是对全球都有祝福，帮助他们能够在以色列能够有投资，祝福以色列。
And we're really blessed to be able to travel, or I'm blessed to be able to travel with my family, my wife and my 3 kids who will be here a little bit later on.
我也很感恩我能够跟我的家人、跟我的妻子、孩子一同能够来到这里。
And that Karen can come and minister with her gifts of worship and just with sharing as well.
那 Kevin 我的太太呢，她也是能够运用到她的恩赐，能够来敬拜，能够来跟大家分享。
Today I want to talk with you about God's love for Israel as a father.
今天我想跟大家分享的题目是神对以色列那一份为父的爱。
And about the dry bones of Israel.
也是关于以色列那些已经枯干了的骨头。
And also I want to see when we look at this from a wider view, the bird's eye view, you could say.
那我也是想分享怎样从一个很广的角度去看它，像从鸟往下看这样的一个角度来分享。
I want us to see how this is relevant to each one of us here today.
我也想分享，让大家明白这个跟我们到底有什么关联。
Many different people here.
这里有许多不同的人。
I guess most of you, this is your home church. Some of you are visitors.
我相信你们大部分是这里的会友，那我们当中有一些人可能是来参观的。
But we've all come from our own week of dealings and work and family and whatever has taken place.
那我们都来自不同的工作、不同的家庭的背景。
I want to begin by reading from Deuteronomy chapter 7, verses 7 to 9.
我想从申命记7章7到9节来开始我的讲章。
You can scroll there in your smart devices, turn there in your Bibles, and it may even be on the screen in a few seconds.
那大家可以翻阅你们的智能手机，你的手机那也可以看着屏幕。
In Deuteronomy, in this section, I'll read it in English, and you can follow in your own language.
那我会读英文，那你可以在你的自己的语言上面去跟进。
The Lord did not set his love on you, nor choose you because you were more in number than any other people, for you were the least of all peoples. But because the Lord loves you, and because he would keep the oath which he swore to your fathers, the Lord has brought you out with a mighty hand and redeemed you from the house of bondage, from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Therefore know that the Lord your God, he is God, the faithful God, who keeps covenant and mercy for 1,000 generations with those who love him and keep his commandments. The love and faithfulness of God is so very evident in this passage.
那神的慈爱跟他的恩典信实，在这个信息里面是非常的明显的。
God says that he loves his people and he set his love upon them.
那神说他爱他的子民，并且他把他的爱浇灌在他们的身上。
And it's interesting because when it says he did not set his love upon you,
那很奇妙的是，神没说他把他的爱
the word in
放在你身
the
上。
word in Hebrew is actually not the common word that we have for love.
那这个词在希伯来文里面不是一个普通的爱这个词。
The common word for love is ahava.
那这个用爱这个词基本的一个表达是用阿哈法来表达。
But in Hebrew, the word that is used here is chashak, which means to desire.
那这里希伯来文用的是哈夏，它的意思是它有一个渴慕。
Now, with love, we know there are all kinds of different forms of love.
那我们知道爱它有很多不同的形式。
I love my wife differently than what I love my children.
我爱我太太的方式跟我爱孩子的方式是不一样的。
Differently than what I love my parents, differently than what I love my work.
那我爱我父母跟我爱我工作的方式也是不一样的。
But the word here that is used for to set the love upon,
在这里讲到把那个爱浇灌在人的身上。
it speaks about a passionate desire like between a couple who is in love.
那这里这个爱讲的是一个神一个有激情的这样的一个爱，就好像这个配偶之间这样的一个激情的爱。
And what he is saying is that he desires and he has desired passionately his people Israel.
那神呢，特别在这里讲到，他对他的以色列的选民有一份的热情，有一份的激情在他们的身上。
But I also want to tell each and every one of you today that God passionately desires you as well.
那我今天也想跟大家说，神对我们这里的每一个人，也是对你有一份的热情，有一份的激情在你的身上。
He desires a relationship with you.
他希望跟你有一个好的关系，
He desires to speak to you.
他渴慕来对你说话，
He desires for you to speak to him.
他也渴慕你能够对他来说话，
And he desires that intimacy with each and every one of you on a daily basis.
他也渴慕每一天你跟他有一个亲密的关系。
It says here that God did not set his love upon the Jewish people because they were the greatest people.
那这里也讲到呢，神爱以色列的百姓，不是因为他们的人数众多，
Actually, the opposite is true.
其实呢是相反。
He chose the Jewish people most likely because they were the least of all the people.
其实他拣选以色列民，以色列民其实是列族当中最小的。
Obviously, it's because of his oath that he made with the fathers. We'll get to that in a second.
那其实是因为神对以色列列祖所立的约。
But many times when you speak with Jewish people, especially the more traditional or religious Jews,
那很多时候，当我们跟以色列的人去交谈，特别是那些很敬虔的人交谈的时候，
many times they think, we are the special people in a prideful way.
那他们就觉得说，我们才是那个特别的选民，我们是很自豪的，
We are better than everybody else.
我们比任何人都要好，
We are God's special treasure.
我们是神特别的珍宝。
And this is true to an extent.
那这个在一定程度上是正确的，
It's true that God chose the Jewish people, but he chose them for a very specific purpose.
但是神拣选他的子民，拣选他们是有一个特别的目的。
He definitely didn't choose them because they were better than anybody else, because here he says it.
他拣选他们，并不是代表他们就比其他人要好，这里已经说明了圣
For
经。
you were the least of all peoples.
那他们是众民当中最小的。
Now there's a joke about Moses and the Ten Commandments.
那在关于摩西跟这个十诫，其实有一个笑话。
When God was looking to give his commandments on the tablets of stone, he went to all the different nations.
那当神想要颁布这个律法在法版上的时候呢，他寻找了许多的国家。
And he asked them, would you want to receive my tablets of stone?
那他就问呢，你们有人想要得着这个法版吗？
He first went to the New Zealand people, where I'm from originally,
他首先去到新西兰这个国家，那本来我是来自新西兰的，
who obviously didn't really exist then, and he asked them, do you want my commandments? And they said, no.
那就问新西兰的人，新西兰的人说我们不要。
And then he came to the Singaporean people and he said, "Do you want my commandments?" And they said, "No."
然后他就来到新加坡，问新加坡人：“你们要我的律例简章吗？”他们说不要。
Finally, he got to Moses and the Jews, the Israelites.
最后呢，他去到摩西，去到这些以色列人，去到他们的那里。
And he said, "Moses, do you want to receive my commandments on tablets of stone?"
然后他就问摩西：“你愿意接受我的律法刻在这些的石板上吗？”
And Moses asked him, "Well, how much do they cost?"
摩西就问：“这些的板，这些的平板要多少钱呢？”
And God said, "Guess what? We've got great news. They're absolutely free."
神就说：“我有个好消息给你们，这些的像平板一样的法板是免费的。”
So Moses said, "Excellent, we'll take 2."
然后摩西就说：“很好，我们要2个。”
God chose the Jewish people not because they were the greatest, they were probably the least of all the people.
神拣选以色列民，不是因为他们是一个大族，却是因为他们是一个很小的一个民族。
But he chose them because of his faithfulness to the fathers.
他拣选他们，是因为他对以色列列祖的一个的信实。
God chose Abraham and his seed after him through Isaac and Jacob.
那神拣选了亚伯拉罕，接着延续下来有这个以撒跟雅各。
He made promises and made covenant with them, and he was faithful to remain true to those promises that he made.
那神呢，一直对着以色列的列祖都是这样的信实延续下来。
To bless them, to multiply them, and to bless the nations through them.
那神祝福他们，也让他们生养众多，也透过他们来祝福列国。
This is such a key characteristic of the God that we serve and worship.
这个就是神这样的一个很核心的一个属性。
He is a God who makes covenant and he keeps covenant for 1,000 generations.
我们的这一位神就是千千代代，他都是这样一个守约的这样的一位神。
And when we read 1,000 generations, it's not that at the 1,001 or the 1,001st generation it ends.
不是说1001代他就会停掉这个千代的意思。
But it's to give us the sense that it is everlasting, it's perpetual.
其实这个的意思就是说，它一直的持续是没有穷尽的。
If it wasn't for God keeping his covenants that he has made in the past, we would not be sitting here today.
如果没有神对我们守住这一个的约的话，其实我们今天也没有办法坐在这里。
If God was not keeping the covenant that he made with Noah, not to destroy the earth again by a flood, we would all be underwater right now.
如果神没有守住他与挪亚所立的那一个约呢，用水来淹没我们的话，我们今天所有人都在那个底下被埋着了。
The Mosaic covenant, the Davidic covenant, the new covenant, they were all built on top of each other.
那神的一个一个约都是先是从旧约、新约一点一点累积上来。
And if you take one of these out, all the rest that are built on top actually come falling down like a house of cards.
Sorry.
If one of these covenants is not in effect anymore, then all the rest that are built on top of it come crashing down.
如果神过去立的约它是无效的话呢，那他再往上立的约其实就更加没有效率了，就会旧的约一点一点这样倒塌下来。
The God that we serve is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore.
我们所侍奉的神是昨日、今日到永远都是一样的神。
And since those days that he spoke these words until today, nothing has changed.
从过去他讲的这些话一直从到他今天讲的话，他一直都是不改变的。
Unfortunately, in church history, many times people taught that the God of the Old Testament was different than the God of the New Testament.
不幸的是呢，在教会的当中，很多人认为旧约的神跟新约的神是不一样。
That he had a personality change
他有
in the middle.
他要突然在其中就有一个人格的改变。
That the God of the Old Testament is a very harsh, disciplinary God.
那旧约的神就是一个对人很凶、很狠的这样的一位神。
And that the God of the New Testament is all about love and grace and peace and harmony.
那新约里面的神就是慈爱、恩典、怜悯和谐的这样一位
But that
神。
is entirely not true. It's as far away from the truth as you could get.
那其实这个观点是不正确的，是完全是不是这样的？
It is the same God with the same character from beginning to end, from Genesis to Revelation.
那我们的神是一位不改变的神，从创世纪到永永远远，他都是不改变的。
God is love.
神就是爱，
He is merciful.
他是有怜悯
He
的，
is faithful.
他是信实的，
But He is also a consuming fire.
他也是烈火，
He is also the roaring lion of the tribe of Judah.
他也是那犹大吼叫的狮子。
And you don't want to fall into the hands of this God.
你不想落在神的审判的手中。
In Malachi 3 verse 6 it says, For I am the Lord, I do not change. Therefore you are not consumed, O sons of Jacob. His love for Israel and His choosing of them has not changed.
那在这个马拉基书3章6节讲到说呢，我是神，我并没有改变。雅各的众子啊，你们并没有灭亡。他对以色列的拣选和爱是没有改变的。
This is something that was taught for generations in the church, that God has replaced Israel with the church.
但是教会就教导呢，神已经透过教会取代了对以色列的爱。
But we know that that is entirely not true as well.
但是我们当中已经知道，这个也是不正确的教导。
God's desire is still for His people.
神的爱还是在他的选民上，
And He is still fulfilling the promises that He made to them through the prophets in these very days.
那神还是透过他的先知所讲的话，他还是继续在信实的去成就。
I want us to go into chapter 37 of Ezekiel and look at the dry bones.
我想我们一起可以来看一下以西结书37节，来看一下这些枯干的骨头，
And see some of this never-changing character and His faithfulness as we see it through Israel and what the prophet describes here.
来看到神那个不改变的属性，以及他是怎样对待以色列的。
Just to give a little bit of context beforehand,
给你们大家一些背景。
in chapter 36 we have the restoration of Israel,
在36章呢，我们看到以色列的一个复苏，
a restored land and a transformed people.
一个被修复的土地，还有被转化更新的人们。
In the first part of chapter 37 that we will focus on, 1 to 14, we have the valley of dry bones, Israel's spiritual restoration.
我们在以西结书37章1到14节看到这个以色列的这些的枯骨的一个复兴，灵里的复兴。
In the second part of the chapter, we have Israel and Judah united once again.
我们看到37章的15到28节，看到是北国以色列跟南国犹大的一个的合一。
Then in chapters 38 and 39, we have the great wars of Gog and Magog.
我们看到第38、39节，看到这个哥格跟马格神对他们的审判，
which we understand to be all end-time events.
我们都明白这个是末后的那样会发生的事。
And then finally, at the end of the book, we have the vision of a restored Jerusalem.
那最后呢，在40章到48章就会讲到这个由耶路撒冷的一个复兴复苏。
In chapter 36, then we have Israel's physical restoration.
那在36章的时候，我们看到以色列是在一个看得见的一个肉身的复苏。
And we read in chapter 36, verses 24 to 28.
那我们来读24到28节，是以西结书36
It
章。
says, I will take you from among the nations.
我会把你从列国招聚，
I will gather you out of all of the places where I have scattered you.
我会把你从你们分散的地方招聚回来，
And I will bring you into your own land.
我会把你们带回你们的土地。
There are around about 80 different prophecies in the scriptures about the Jewish people returning to the land of Israel.
那有超过80个有关讲到说以色列民要回归到他们的故土这样
That
的
is
预
a
言，
very significant amount.
这是一个很大的一个预言数目。
It means that it is a major theme in the Bible.
这就是说，这是圣经里面一个主要的主题，
It's not one, it's not two, it's not 10, it's not 20, it's 80.
不是1，不是2，不是几个，是80多个。
We read in the beginning of verse 25, it says, Then, after I have gathered you from the nations, then is a time marker.
那当我把你们从列国招聚回来的时候呢，这个时间就要截止。
I will sprinkle clean water on you, and you shall be clean.
我会把水洒在你们的身上，你们就会得洁净。
He says he will take out the heart of stone and replace it with a heart of flesh.
他说他要除掉你们的肉那个实心，而给你们一个新的心。
He will cause them to walk in his commandments and in his statutes and judgments to observe them. He says, I will cause you to walk in my ways.
他就说我会让你们走在我的心意里面。
He says, you will not be a reproach. You will not be mocked or laughed at by the nations anymore.
你们不会再被这些列国所嘲笑。
And he says at the end of chapter 36,
在36章最后，
that I, the Lord, have spoken and I shall do it.
那我是这么说的，我就这样来成就。
The Jewish people have returned from all four corners of the earth.
那以色列民呢，他从地的四极、世界各地回归。
This is part of our family story.
这也是我们家族的故事。
We were born in New Zealand.
我们是生在纽西兰。
And God spoke to my parents when I was a young boy at the age of 7 and told them, leave everything in New Zealand and return back to the land of your forefathers.
那当我7岁的时候呢，我的父母神就对他们说话，叫他们要从新西兰出来，回到以色列。
And that immigration to Israel has been going on since 1882, when the first waves of immigration started to come back to the land of Israel.
其实从1882年开始呢，这个移民回去以色列的这个浪潮就已经开始了。
From the Arab nations, hundreds of thousands of Jews have returned back home.
那这个在阿拉伯国家呢，也是许多的人也是回归。
From Iraq alone, 120,000 Jews returned back to the land of Israel.
那在伊朗这一个地方呢，就有12万的人回归。
From Ethiopia in 1991 and 1992, 100,000 Jews were airlifted from Ethiopia back to the land of Israel.
那在91年跟92年的时候呢，就有10万人从埃塞俄比亚这个地方呢回归到以色列。
The Air Force sent Hercules C-130 planes and just loaded them all up and flew them back to the land of Israel.
那这个以色列的空军呢，他们就接载他们，把他们送回去。
These were called Operation Moses and Operation Solomon.
那当时呢，我们这个任务就叫做是摩西任务、所罗门任务。
The operations to bring the Jews back from Iraq and from some of the other nations were called Operations Ezra and Operation Nehemiah.
那当时把人从这个伊朗带回来呢，我们叫做是以斯拉尼希米任务。
In Jeremiah 31 verse 8, it speaks about the land of the north giving up the Jewish people to return back home.
那耶利米书31章第8节也是讲到北方的地要把神的选民给带回来。
And when we immigrated back to Israel in 1992, we came in the midst of the great return of Jewish people from the former Soviet Union.
那当我们92年回归的时候呢，我们也是发现很多前苏联在那边的犹太人也回归。
Between the end of the 1980s and the end of the 1990s, over the period of a decade, over 1 million Jewish people returned from the land of the north.
那在这个90年代的大概在这个期间，有超过百万计的人回归到以色列。
And we came in the middle of that.
我们就是其中的。
So everybody else around us almost was speaking Russian of some form, and only us, we were speaking English.
那我们当中许多人呢，他们就是讲的这个是俄语，那只有我们少数的人讲英文。
But the point is that God is keeping his promises to his people.
那我想要讲的重点呢，就是神一直守他的信实的诺言。
He is fulfilling them in such a real and clear way.
那神呢，他是这么的真实在信守，也这么的明显在持守这约。
And I think many times we read the Bible and we say, if only I lived in the days of Moses and saw the Red Sea parting.
那我们读圣经的时候，很多时候只是看到摩西过红海这些的地方。
Or if only I lived in the days of the other prophets or the apostles and saw all the marvelous works that they did.
如果我读圣经的时候，如果我生在那些先知的年代，我就看到很多的神迹。
But I guarantee you, if they could see what is going on today and they had the choice when to live then or now, they would want to live today.
如果那些在 能够选择的人，是要选择在先知的那个时代呢，还是愿意选择生在这个时代？他们选择现在。
Because the days that we are living in are the days of the fulfillment of all things that were spoken.
那因为我们所身处的这个年代呢，是神讲的话正要成就的年代。
These are the days where God is fulfilling his prophecy.
这就是神在履行他的这些预言的这个的时代。
And it's happening before our very eyes.
那这些东西都是在我们的眼前一直在发生的。
Sometimes we read and we see, but we don't connect the two things together.
有时候我们看见了这些事发生，但是我们没有把它关联起来。
And so it's important that we read and we see and we connect.
那所以我们很重要，我们读了看了，我们一定要把它联系起来。
And we understand that God is alive, that he is working in the world today,
我们要明白，神是一位活的神，他正在世界工作，
that he is keeping his promises and he is being faithful,
他正在守他的诺言，他也是这么的信实。
and that if he can do it on such a grand scale, then he can do it in each and every one of your lives as well.
如果这么大的事神他都可以成就，那他在你个别身上的每一件小事他都能成就。
In chapter 37, the prophet is writing or seeing this vision while he is in exile in Babylon.
那在这个以西结书37章这个地方，那个先知他在领受这些的时候，其实他在巴比伦。
The Jewish people are in despair. They're not in their own land.
那这些的以色列民，他们已经感觉到很绝望，他们不在自己的土地。
The temple lies in ruins back in Jerusalem,
那以色列的那个圣殿呢，已经是废墟了，
and the land is desolate.
那个土地是荒芜的。
And we read that the hand of the Lord comes upon the prophet and he takes him out to a valley full of dry bones.
那我们看到这里，神把先知带到了一个山谷那里，他看到都是枯干的骨头。
And in verse 2 it says, He caused me to pass by all around them, and behold, there were very many in the open valley, and indeed they were very dry.
那这个第二节这个地方讲到呢，这个平原里面的这些枯骨都是很枯干的，是没有生气的。
These bones were scattered everywhere.
这些骨头呢，到处都是，
It wasn't a skeleton here and a skeleton there and another one over here.
不是说这里一块骨头，那里一块骨头，是到处都是。
It was a finger bone there and a rib over here and a jawbone up there and a toe bone down there.
不是说头骨在这里，身体的骨在这里另外身体的骨又在其他地方，
They were scattered all over the place.
是到处都遍满了。
And not only that, but they were also very dry.
不单只是骨头，而且它们非常的枯干。
Have you seen a very dry bone before?
你们有看过非常干的骨头吗？
Singapore is a very clean country.
新加坡是一个很干净的国家，
I haven't seen any roadkill here, any dead animals on the road.
我没有看到这里有一些死的动物在路上。
In Israel, we get it all the time.
在以色列，我们经常会看见
Wild boars, wild pigs,
那些野生的动物，野猪，野生的动物，
jackals, like wild dogs,
那些野狗，野狗，
hedgehogs,
嘿
hedgehogs.
就有一
You
些
know
的
the
动物。
spiky little things.
OK 是什么？刺猬，刺猬。
And if you have seen the difference between a dry bone and a bone that is not very dry yet, that still has flesh on it,
如果你明白这个一个还有一点气息的，还有一点就是水分的骨头跟一个枯骨的区别，
you know that it takes a long time for a bone to go from being covered in flesh to being very, very dry.
你要知道，从一个还有一点水分的这个骨头变成枯干的骨头是有一个过程。
And he saw these bones, and indeed they were very dry. They had been dead for a very long time.
他看见了这些的骨头呢，已经这么的干，其实就是说他们已经死了很久了。
And in verse 3, God speaks to Ezekiel and he says, Son of man, can these bones live?
那当时神就问以西结先知说：“人子啊，你觉得这些骨头还可以再活过来吗？”
And this is a little bit of a trick question.
这是一个很困难的问题。
And Ezekiel, I think he's looking at these bones and he's thinking to himself, there's no way these bones can live.
那以西结可能他自己看了就觉得不可能。
If God forbid someone passed away right now and they were laid down here in front of us,
如果神允许一个人这个时候就离开这个世界的话呢，他可能就会永远躺着。
I think we could all have faith that God would revive this person.
我们
Yeah?
我想我们也是有信心说神有能力让他复活过来。
But if I bought a bag of bones and put them out here on the ground, would you have faith that God could cause these bones to come back together and come back to life again?
如果我把一整袋的很多的骨头放在这里，那你们有信心说神让每一个都可以活过来吗？
I would find it difficult, to be honest.
我会觉得很困难，老实的说。
Maybe there are some people here today with a lot of faith, and you would say, yes, it can happen.
可能我们当中有的人他有很大的信心，他说一定会成就。
That is what Ezekiel was probably feeling and thinking.
那可能当时以西结先知也有这么想。
But he gives a very clever Jewish answer.
他给了一个很聪明的犹太式的回答。
And he says, well, God, only you know.
他就说：“神啊，只有你知道，
Can something so dead come back to life again?
有这么死透的东西再活过来的机会吗？”
Ezekiel's answer shows that it is impossible, absolutely impossible, unless it is something that God himself does.
那以西结他就回答说：“这个是完全不可能的，除非神的作为介入。”
Have you ever faced or are you facing now a situation that feels like this bag of bones to you?
那你有曾经经历过一个这样的过程，又或者你还在经历，就好像生命里面就是枯骨这样的经历吗？
Something that you think is absolutely impossible and it cannot happen?
你就是一些的经历，让你觉得根本不可能成就的事。
Well, guess what? Our God is the God of the impossible. Amen?
那我们的神呢，就是这一位不可能成就也可以成就的神。
And King David calls him the master of breakthrough, Baal Pratzim.
那大卫呢，就称我们的神为突破的神，
Because he makes a way where there is no way.
因为神呢，在没有道路的时候，他可以开出道路。
I served as an officer in the IDF for 4 years.
我在以色列的军队里面呢，服侍作为一个军官。
In the combat engineering course, so we dealt with explosives and demolitions.
那我们处理一些爆破性的这样的任务。
And we many times had to break through obstacles and make a way where there was no other way.
很多时候呢，我们要在没有路的时候，我们要做一个爆破来开出一条路。
And this is exactly what God does for us. He makes a way where there is no way.
那这也是神对我们所做的，在我们生命没有路的时候，他为我们开出路。
He takes that bag of bones and he brings them back to life once again.
他这一些的枯骨，他能够让他们再一次的活过来。
So if you have a situation in your lives this morning that feels like a bag of bones, very dry bones, know that God can do it.
如果你的生命里面就好像这些枯骨一样，真的是这么的干燥的时候，你要知道，神可以把你复苏过来。
In verse 4, he says that God spoke to him and said, prophesy to these bones. And he says to them, O dry bones, hear the word of the Lord.
那神透过以西结先知发这个预言，对这些枯骨说：“你们要听神的话。”
When God has ordained something, it is impossible to turn it back.
那如果神命定要成就的事，是神的话就绝不返回。
It will indeed come to pass no matter what.
那他一定会成就，无论那个环境是怎样。
Because he is faithful, like we read at the beginning.
他就是这么的信实，从我们起初到现在，
He keeps covenant.
他守约。
And if he has given you a word or a promise in your lives, no matter how impossible or how even dead it may seem, he will bring it to pass.
如果他给你一个话语，给你一个预言应许的话，无论多不可能的环境，他都一定会做成。
And he prophesies to them and he speaks to them and says, I will cause breath to enter into them.
然后他就透过先知发预言说：“我会让这个生气进入到这个枯骨。”
That these bones will live and then you will know that I am the Lord.
那这些的枯骨就会再一次的活过来，然后你们就会知道我是神。
Because that is what it is all about.
那这就是整个的这个信息有关的。
Everything that God does in our lives,
这个所有神做在我们身上的事，
everything that God is doing with Israel,
所有神在对以色列做的事，
it is for his great name's sake.
因为是为了他的名的缘故，
It is for the whole world to know that He is the Lord.
因为要让全地的人都知道他就是神。
It is because one day every knee will bow and every tongue will confess that Yeshua the Messiah is King and Lord.
因为有一天，所有万国万民都要来，万口都要来承认他就是主。
That is what it's all about.
这就是所有有关这个
It's
信
not
息
about our individual lives.
不单只是我们每个人的生命，
It's not about a nation, this nation or that nation.
也不是只是说这个国家那个国家，
It's about Him.
是关于他。
And it's about us and the entire world knowing that He is the one true God and there is no other besides Him.
所以也是关于我们的生命，知道没有其他的神，只有他是神。
So He prophesies to them in verse 7.
所以他在第7节继续发预言，
And the bones start to come together.
那些骨头呢就开始连结。
When I was a kid in New Zealand, I learnt the song about the bones.
当我还是在新西兰是一个孩子的时候呢，我就学到了一首诗歌，叫关于骨头的。
It goes, I'm not a great singer, but it goes, the thigh bone's connected to the hip bone's connected to the backbone.
就是讲到我大腿的骨头跟我腰椎的骨头连接，我的腰椎的骨头跟我背部的骨头连接。
And this is how I learned about the skeleton.
这就是我怎样来学这个人体的骨架的结
Well,
构。
all of a sudden, when he prophesies, there's this sound, this rattling sound.
那当时这个发预言的时候呢，也看到这些骨头动的时候有声音，
And all the bones start coming together.
那这个声音以后呢，所有的骨头就开始连接，
And whole skeletons are formed.
那整个的人体的骨架就开始组织起来，
And then the sinews and the flesh and the muscles come upon them.
然后呢，这个血肉就开始进入这个骨头，
And they are lying there on the ground.
他们就开始排列起来。
But it says at the end of verse 8, but there was no breath in them.
但是第8节讲到呢，这些的血肉还是没有气息、呼吸在上面。
The issue of breath is key in this passage.
那这个呼吸是这段经文的一个重点。
I don't know what it is like in the language that you're reading it in, but in English it misses the Hebrew.
那我不知道你们的语言在这个翻译怎样，但是在英文里面其实没有抓到希伯来语的，
Because the word for breath, spirit, and wind appears 10 times in these 14 verses.
其实这个气息、圣灵还有风，它这个词在原文里面是重复了10次。
In Hebrew, it's all the same word.
在希伯来文，其实这几个字都是一样的。
The word is ruach.
那个词叫 word，
Can you say ruach?
word
Ruach. We
Ruach.
say ruach hakodesh, the Holy Spirit.
word 就是圣灵。
Ruach is wind, ruach is breath, and ruach is spirit.
这个 word 就是气息、呼吸，也是圣灵，也是风，这样
It's interchangeable.
它是可以更换的。
And I think that Ezekiel is trying to point us towards another story in the Bible that involved a lifeless person and the Spirit of God.
那我相信这个以西结先知他当时讲这个是让我们看到圣经其他有关这个的
Many
信息。
times the writers, especially of the Old Testament, they allude to other passages in Scripture.
那很多时候呢，特别是这个旧约的圣经作者，他们会连接其他的经文来跟我们讲。
And maybe this is what you thought of, but I believe he is alluding back to the Garden of Eden.
那可能你们这个其实他是想要连接回创世的时候伊甸园，
Where God formed man,
当神创造了人，
but he was lying lifeless on the ground until God breathed his spirit into him and he stood up a living human being.
当时呢，他本来只是一个躺着的这样的一个人，直到神把气息吹到他的里面，他才成了一个活人。
This again is hinting to us that this revival of the Jewish people was a sovereign act of God alone.
这个再一次告诉我们呢，这个以色列民他的生命的一个复苏，其实是神的一个主权的作为，
It's not chance.
这不是偶然的。
It's not chance and it's not by accident that a nation that was dead for so many years has come back to life.
这个国家已经灭亡了这么久，又重新的以色列的复国，它不是一个偶然的，
It is something that God said he would do thousands of years ago, and we are seeing it happening in our very day.
那这个是2000多年前神这么讲的，那今天他就来成就。
So in verses 9 and 10, he prophesies to the ruach, to the wind.
那在第9节、第10节呢，他就透过风来发预言，向风发预言。
And the four winds came, and he breathed on the slain, on the dead, and they stood up an exceedingly great army.
那这个风从四方吹来，这些被杀的人身上，他们就活了，甚至成为大军。
Now they were alive.
所以呢，他们就活了。
God's Spirit is the ultimate life and revival for each and every one of us.
那神的灵呢，就是我们最终生命的这个能够活过来的一个源头。
Without His Spirit, His living Spirit within us,
如果没有他的灵在我们的里面，
without His ruach within us, we are also like the dead person lying on the ground.
如果没有这个神的灵在我们的里面呢，我们就好像死人。
I shared about this in connection with the living waters yesterday afternoon.
我昨天下午也是讲到这个，那我觉得要把这个跟活水连接起来。
We must have His Spirit dwelling within each and every one of us.
那我们每一个人呢，必须要有他的圣灵住在我们的里面。
And for it to be more and more and more and going greater all of the time.
那其实我们更加需要渴慕更多、更多、更多的圣灵，一直的充满我们。
This spiritual revival of the Jewish people, I see, is very connected with what we read in Romans chapter 11.
那我也觉得这个以色列人的这个灵命的一个复兴，是跟我们罗马书11章读到的也是有关联的。
In chapter 12, in verse 12, it says, "If their fall is riches for the world and their failure riches for the Gentiles, how much more their fullness?"
那这里面罗马书他讲到呢，如果因着外邦人也能够领受呢，其实以色列人他们愿意领受，也能够领受更多。
And in verse 15 it says, "For if their being cast away is the reconciling of the world, what will their acceptance be but life from the dead?"
那如果15节这个罗马书11章15节讲到，如果说以色列人若他们被丢弃，天下就得与神和好，他们被收纳，岂不是死而复生吗？
The house of Israel, for the most part, is cut off
那以色列的家其实已经被分开了，
because of their unbelief.
因为他们的不信，
And they are lying like dead, dry branches or dead, dry bones on the ground.
他们呢就好像这些已经死了没有气息的骨头，
Now
到处都是。
God is in a process.
那其实神正在一个工作的过程，
It doesn't all happen like that with the click of a finger.
不是我们一下之间这个事情就会成就。
He is bringing and gathering the Jewish people back to the land of Israel in order to bring about the spiritual revival among this people.
他把以色列民再一次的带回以色列地，是因为为了以色列有一个灵里的复兴。
And when this happens, when the spiritual revival takes place within the Jewish people,
那当这个灵里的复兴在以色列民当中发生的时候，
it will be like life from the dead.
那就会好像是这个从死里复活这样一样。
These connections are very, very clear here in these passages.
那这些的关联，其实在这些的经文里面都是很明显的。
And in the remaining verses of this section in chapter 37, he speaks about these being indeed the whole house of Israel, these bones.
其实，在37章以西结书37章后面的内容提到说，是整个的以色列。
And how the house of Israel said, "Our bones are dry, our hope is lost, and we ourselves are cut off."
那这里讲到以色列民他们感觉到他们的生命很枯干，他们的生命也被很破碎，觉得没有希
But
望
he。says, "I will open your graves, and I will bring you out of your graves.
那但是神说，我会把这个坟墓打开，我会来修
I
复，
will revive you from the dead,
我会把你们从死里面再一次的活过来，
physically and spiritually.
无论是你们的肉身还是在你们的灵魂里面，
I will bring you into your own land,
我会把你们带回你们的故土，
and I will put my spirit in you.
我会把我的灵放在你们的里面。
And again, then you will know that I, the Lord, have spoken and have performed it."
那你们就会知道，我主你的神我说过的话，我就会成就。
What does all of this mean for you and for me?
那这些的信息对你和我是什么的意思呢？
A few points to conclude.
我想用几点来总结。
First of all, the God of Israel is a God of love.
首先，我要跟你说，以色列的神是一位爱的神。
He has a father's heart of love for his people Israel, and he has a father's heart of love for each and every one of you.
他对以色列是有一个为父的爱，而且他对我们这里每一个人也是有为父的爱。
He fervently desires you.
他很热切的对你有一个强烈的渴望。
He has chosen you. You have not chosen him, and there is a reason that you are sitting here today.
其实是他拣选了你们，而不是你们拣选了他，所以你今天才能坐在这里。
The second thing is that we serve a faithful and mighty God.
第二样我要总结的是，我们服侍的这一位是一位全能信实的神。
He forever keeps his promises and his covenants.
他永远都会守住他的这些的应许和他的约。
Sometimes God makes us promises. He gives us words.
有时候神给我们一个诺言，他给我们一些话语。
And it can take months, even years or decades until we see them being fulfilled.
有时候呢，要经年累月，甚至是数十年这样才成就。
But no matter how long the wait,
但是无论你要等多久，
how difficult the path,
无论你的道路有多困难，
or how impossible the circumstances,
还有你的那个情境有多么的糟糕，
can these dry bones live?
那这些的枯骨可以活过来吗？
The answer is absolutely yes.
那答案是绝对的可能。
With the house of Israel,
在以色列的家中，
and with each of you also.
在你们的生命当中，
If God has spoken something to you or made a promise to you, He will bring it to pass.
如果神已经对你的生命说了一些的话的话，他必成就，
No matter how long it may take.
无论多久。
I know of people that have prayed for family members for decades until they saw them coming to faith.
我知道有一些人为他的家人的救恩祷告了数十年。
People that have prayed for situations in their lives, and it has taken hours, countless hours of prayer on their knees before God.
我们也有看到有人他用无数的小时一直跪在神的面前祷告。
But He is a loving Father,
他是一位爱的神，
and He gives good gifts to His children. Amen?
他是一位慈爱的父神，他给他的孩子都是好的赏赐。
The third thing is that God's Spirit within us is the key to life.
那第三个我想要总结的是，神的灵住在我们里面，是我们生命当中的一个重心。
We need His Spirit within us in order to be alive.
我们需要神的灵在我们的里面，好让我们再次活过来。
He breathes His Spirit into us when we are born.
他把他的气息吹在我们的里面，当我们出生的时候，
When they flick the foot of the baby and cause it to draw its first breath.
当我们去动我们的孩子的时候，就让他开始呼吸。
Until the day that we go to be with Him and that final breath comes out of our mouths once again.
直到我们那一天，我们去见神的时候，我们最后一口气息的呼吸。
This is true for the nation of Israel,
这是对以色列的
which
真实。
for the most part do not have the Spirit of the living God within them these days.
但是现在有一些情况是，我们看到神的灵没有在他们当中，
And it is true for each and every one of us also.
也是在我们当中也是这样。
To come before Him on a daily basis and be refilled with His living Spirit.
所以我们需要每一天再一次来到他的面前，重新被他的圣灵来充满，
So that we can also stand on our feet and be an exceedingly great army to do His will.
所以我们也能够站在他的面前，可以成为他的大军，来成就神的旨意。
So I'd just like to pray these things over you as well.
所以我想要来为你们来祷告，
And ask that God would continue to show His faithfulness to you.
来叫神继续来向你们来
That He
施
would
他的
fill
信
you
实。
and refresh you with His Spirit this morning.
他今天早上会让他的灵来充满你，再次的来更新你。
So please stand with me.
请大家站起来。
You can all wake up a little bit.
大家这个时候可以开始苏醒了。
And we'll open our hearts to the Lord.
我们一起来敞开我们的心。
Abba Father,
阿爸父，
thank you that you are love.
谢谢你就是爱，
Thank you that you have set your love upon each and every one of us.
谢谢你把你的爱浇灌在我们每一个人的身上。
Thank you that everything that you do for us, whether easy or whether difficult,
谢谢你做在我们身上的每一件事，无论是容易的、困难的，
it is always out of love, your love towards us.
那这些事都是出于你的爱。
Lord God, give us the eyes to see you as a loving Father, the loving Father that you are.
主啊，给我们这样的眼光，看见你是那位慈爱的父亲。
Allow us to be filled with your love afresh today, Lord God.
让我们今天再一次的被你的爱所充满、所更新。
We thank you that you indeed are a mighty and a faithful God who keeps covenant and promises.
我们谢谢你，因为你是全能信实的主，你永远守住你的约。
And Abba, I want to lift before you any person in here today who you have spoken to.
阿爸父，我也要来向你来求这里每一个你今天对他们说话的人。
Who may be struggling with the weight,
可能今天当中有人为着他们身体的重担，还有他生命的重量来
who may be finding it difficult to persevere,
可能他觉得很难坚持下去，
who may be feeling like the house of Israel saying our hope is lost.
可能像以色列他们感觉到他们的希望已经没了。
Lord God, that you would remind them right now.
主啊，你现在就来对他们来
And that you
提醒。
would fill their hearts with a new faith.
主啊，你会对他们的生命赐下一个新的信心。
That, Lord God, when you say something, you indeed bring it to pass.
主啊，当你说了这些话的时候，你就让它成就，
You will accomplish it
你就成就，
because you are a faithful Abba.
因为你是一位信实的阿爸父。
And you do what you say you will do.
主啊，你会做你说过的事。
Lord God, we have all come in here this morning from different things happening in our lives.
主啊，我们来到你的面前，我们的生命当中都有许多经历不同的事。
And Abba, we are all in need of a new wave of your spirit in our lives.
主啊，我们需要你新一轮的这个圣灵的浇灌。
We are all in need of you to fill us afresh with your spirit this morning
我们需要你有你圣灵的一个更新的浇灌，
so that we can go forward with a faster pace,
所以我们可以往前走，我们可以更加大步往前迈，
so that we can continue to run the race that you have set before us
所以我们可以向前跑这一个的路程，
and fulfill the callings that you have in each and every one of our lives
来成就你对我们生命的那个呼召，是我们每一个人的呼召，
so that we can finish the race,
所以我们完成这一段的人生的路程，
so that we can attain the crown that is waiting for us.
所以我们可以得到那个神你赐给我们的冠冕。
Abba, we long to finish the race and hear you say that we have been faithful servants to you.
主啊，我们渴慕听到你对我们说，你是良善又忠心的仆人。
But Lord God, it is not us in our own might.
主啊，但是这个不是靠着我们自己的能力，
It is you by your Spirit in
这个
us.
是你靠你的灵才能做成的。
So Lord God, fill us afresh with your Spirit this morning, I pray.
主啊，所以今天早上就让你的灵更新充满我们。
I thank you, Lord God, for all that you do for us.
主啊，我谢谢你每一件做在我们身上奇妙的
Thank you
事，
for being with us.
谢谢你一直与我们同
Thank you
在
for，always walking with us.
谢谢你一直与我们同行。
We proclaim your greatness.
我们宣告你的伟大奇
We
妙，
proclaim your faithfulness, Lord God.
我们宣告你对我们的信实。
Even though it may be difficult for us right now, we proclaim that you are a faithful God.
虽然现在对我们来讲可能有一点困难，但是我们要宣告你的信实。
And I thank you for the wonderful and great things that you have in store for each and every person here today.
主啊，我谢谢你因为你在我们这里每一个人那一切要做美好的事。
We give you all the praise and the glory in Yeshua's mighty name.
我们给你所有的颂赞荣耀，奉耶稣的名，
Hallelujah. Amen.
哈利路亚，阿门。